Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue dans une nouvelle vidéo Apprenons ensemble. Si vous êtes nouveau sur cette chaîne, je m'appelle Habib et j'enseigne le français. Hello and welcome on another video Apprenons ensemble. If you are new here, my name is Habib and I teach French. In today's video, we will have a translation exercise. Apprenons ensemble, French for intermediate, English to French translation exercise 4. Required knowledge. In this exercise, we'll have to translate sentences into French. Here is the list of knowledge to have before you can start. Simple future tense, articles, partitive articles, negation, nouns gender. On this channel, we are learning French through exercises. So if you do like this type of content, I will humbly ask you to please subscribe and hit the bell button not to miss our future uploads. So let's get started. Translate into French. Traduisez en français. Here are the sentences we'll be using for our today's exercise. I will give you 10 seconds to translate each sentence, but if you need more time, you can pause the video, finish the translation, and then continue the video. Okay? So let's jump right into the exercise. Sentence number 1. The train will arrive at 8 a.m. So 10-second timer starting now. Let's see the answer. The train will arrive at 8 a.m. So the structure of the sentence first, subject, verb, complement. So the train is the subject, will arrive, the verb, at 8 a.m., the complement. Let's translate the subject into French. The train is the subject of the sentence. Question you need to ask yourself while translating a noun. Okay, so every time you are translating a noun, whether it's the subject or the object, you need to follow this pattern. What's the gender of the noun? In French, nouns have gender. It can be masculine or feminine. So, if you use your dictionary, in English it will be train, but in French it will become train. So, beside the noun, every time you are learning a noun, I will advise you to also check its gender, which is very important. So, beside the noun, if you check in your dictionary, you will see that it's written n.m. For some other nouns, it can be written n.f. So, nm stand for noun masculine and n.f will stand for noun feminine. So, in the case of our exercise, train is masculine. So, train, it's a noun masculine. Does the noun require an article, definite or indefinite in French? So let's see the definite articles. Definite articles, le, la, l'apostrophe, les, are used to refer to a specific nouns, something that is known or previously mentioned. In English, the definite article is de. Indefinite articles, un, une, des, refer to non-specific or unidentified nouns. In English, the indefinite articles are e and an. So if you check the given article here, it is de. And we say for definite article in English, that translated as de. So we'll be using definite article. Moreover, here we are talking about a specific train that will arrive at 8. So definitely we are going to use definite articles. So here the train, so le train. So le is nothing but the masculine singular form of the definite article to express de. Okay. Next point, is the noun a proper noun, specific name of a person, place or organization. So here we are talking about the train, so a train, so it's not a specific noun. Okay. So we just say no to this one. So le train. Okay. So the train become le train. Next point, the verb. Will arrive is the verb of the sentence. So again, we do have some questions that we need to follow. to get it properly translated into French. First one, what's the tense of the verb in English? So here I've written in English, but it can be in the given exercise language, okay, or in your mother tongue. So the first thing that you have to do is to get the tense in your mother tongue or in English or in the given language of the exercise. Okay? Then only apply the French rules, okay, for that specific tense. Okay? So example, let's say the tense is present in the given language or in the given exercise or in English. So I'm going to apply the present tense French rules. So I should not translate word by word. No. Okay? So in our case, the tense is future simple. So simple future tense. Second point, what's the subject of the verb? Identify the subject of the verb in the English sentence. In French, the verb form will depend on the subject, person, or number. Okay? So I need to identify the subject in the given exercise, or in English, or in my mother tongue, or in the given language of the exercise. Then, come back in French and apply the French rule of that specific tense, following or respecting the gender and the number of the subject, because we do have an agreement between the subject and the verb in French, even in English. I don't know about all the other languages, but you need to follow the same rule to be able to get the correct translation in French. Okay? So here the train is nothing but the third person singular. Okay? Does the verb require a reflexive pronoun? In French, reflexive verbs are used when the subject is performing an action on oneself. Check if the verb should be reflexive and include the appropriate reflexive pronoun. Okay, reflexive verbs are nothing but verbs that we use to express an action that the subject does on himself. So here, I'm talking about the train which will arrive. So, no. So the subject is not doing the action on himself. So you say no. Okay. But if you want more information about reflexive verb, you can drop me a comment in the comment section. I will be glad to respond to your question. Fourth one, is the verb regular or irregular in French? Some verbs in French are irregular and do not follow the standard conjugation patterns. Check if the verb you are translating is regular or irregular and apply the correct conjugation. Okay, so this is a very important point. Because let's suppose you have learned the present tense rules and the irregular verb. What you need to understand is the irregular verb that you have learned in present tense won't exactly be the same for another tense. So for each tense, we need to check the irregular verb for that specific tense. I hope you are getting my point. Okay? So the irregular verb that you have in present tense, they are not forcefully irregular in any other tense. So for each tense, I will need to check the list of the irregular verb for that specific tense. Okay? So first of all, what we'll be doing, we have will arrive. I need to get back that verb into its infinitive form, or if you want, its non-conjugated form. So in English, it will be to arrive, and in French, it will be arriver. So I need that non-conjugated form, and then I'm going to cross-check all the irregular verbs for that specific tense, and then say yes or no. Okay, so I need the non-conjugated form of the verb, which is very important. There are exceptions to the rule of forming the future tense. So the first one, verbs ending with E will lose the final E before adding the future endings. So here the verb arriver ends with ER. There is no extra a final E. So it doesn't follow this one. So we'll skip this one. Verbs ending with OYER or UYER, the Y will change to I before adding the future endings. But here, it doesn't end with OYER or UYER. So we'll just skip this one. Verbs ending with A-Y-E-R have two possible spellings. So this verb doesn't end with A-Y-E-R. So we'll skip again this rule. So we have the verbs ending with E-L-E-R or A-L-E-R. So they have both conjugations, okay, where we add an extra accent on the E, okay, or sometimes we can double the last consonant. Okay, so if it is L, we'll double the L. If it is T, we'll double the T. And both will be correct. So for all verbs ending with E-L-E-R or E-T-E-R for future tense, we can have both conjugations. Now, we do have something that we need to talk about. Why we do have these two conjugations? We have the one that will double the last consonant called the traditional spelling or the old spelling. Okay? And we have replaced the second consonant by an accent grave in the second point, which will be called the new spelling, okay, or the new rule. But for verbs ending with A-L-E-R or E-T-E-R, we can use both, and both will be correct, no problem at all. But we do have some exceptions. Verbs ending with verbs like from the group of appeler and jeter. So for them, we need to double the last consonant. We cannot have the new rule for them. Okay? So verb appeler and jeter and the derivatives, we need to only double the last consonant. For verb like geler and acheter, for this one, we cannot double the last consonant. By this time, we need to add the accent. So that's why we have been through this rule, okay? So we do have some where both conjugation will be working, but verbs from the group appeler and jeter, for them, we need to double the last consonant. And verb geler, acheter, and the derivative, we cannot double the last consonant, but for them, we need to add the accent grave on the E before the ending. Okay. But by looking at the ending of my verb, we don't have E-L-E-R or E-T-E-R here. So we'll just skip this part. It doesn't belong to this list also. Here is the list of irregular verb for future tense. Let me repeat it again. You see, I'm saying for future tense, this is the list of the irregular verb. Okay? And if you go through it, you will see that we don't have the verb arriver in the list. So finally, we will say that this verb is not an irregular verb. So we'll say no. Okay? So what are we going to do then? Then we are going to follow the general rule for that specific tense. So what are the endings for the specific tense and subject of in French? Okay? So here, how to conjugate the verb for simple future. So we'll take the verb infinitive form. So arriver, if you remember, it was A-R-R-I-V-E-R. So I'll keep it as it is. And I'm going to add the avoir ending for present tense. So you need to know how to conjugate the verb avoir for present tense. And then take the endings which will be used as the future ending. So example here, I'm taking the verb manger. So I'm writing the full thing, the full verb. And then for subject je, after writing the verb, I need to add AI. That's what I did here. Okay? If you do have questions, please do not hesitate to just message me and I will give you more explanation. Okay? So, in our case, what do you have? We have the train. So, the train is nothing but third person. We can replace the train will arrive by it will arrive. So, it's third person. Okay? So, we are going to use the full verb, or if you want the non-conjugated form of the verb, and add a at the end. Okay? So the verb is to arrive, which is arriver. Okay? So the train will arrive. So le train. So I'm writing the full form of the verb. And then third person ending, so a. So le train arrivera. Okay? 6 points. Does the verb require a preposition in French when adding a complement? So for some verbs, some verb in French require preposition to be used correctly. So we need to check if that verb translating it in French will require a preposition. And then we need to use the appropriate one. Okay, so to do this one, we'll need to learn something that we call direct and indirect transitive verbs in French. Okay, but we are not going to go through it during this class. We'll have a special class to explain this one. Okay. And for people who want to go deep inside, maybe you can just contact me so that I can take time properly to explain you different concepts that you need to understand. in this exercise, since it's a simple exercise, but I wanted you to know all these points, I needed to add this point, which is very important also. But we can do one thing. We have a tip that we can follow in English. Look at the verb to arrive in English. To arrive like plus a noun, or to arrive to plus a place, or to arrive at plus time. So that means if I'm using the verb to arrive and I want to add a complement after the verb, or I want to add some things after the verb, I need to use a preposition. Okay? So in our case, they say the train will arrive at, and then we have time here. Okay? So for this one, we'll just say yes. The train, this verb will need a preposition. Okay? So now let's see which preposition are we going to use. So at in French will be nothing but a. Okay, with an accent. So the train will arrive will become le train arrivera, and at, so a. So I'm going to replace it in the sentence. So the train will arrive at, so le train arrivera à. Okay. Finally, we'll talk about the complement. 8 a.m. is the complement of the sentence, which is nothing but time in French. So in French, what we need to understand, we can use the 12-hour system like the English. Okay. But then we need to understand one thing. Most of the time, mostly we are not using in the written words. We are using it mostly or commonly orally. Okay. Now we have another problem. We need to be able to express AM, PM. Now to express AM and PM in French, we have 3. We don't have 2 like English. So we have du matin to express in the morning, time between midnight and 12 p.m. We have de l'après-midi to express the afternoon for times between, or for hours between 12 noon and 5 p.m. And then we have du soir for any hour after 6 p.m. Okay? Now we do have a problem. Sometimes, if you hear some French speaker, sometimes 5 p.m., anytime between 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., some they will keep it in afternoon, some will keep it in the evening. But it's not really a problem. Okay? But if you want to follow the real or the correct rule, anytime between 12 noon to 5 p.m. will be l'après-midi. For le soir or du soir, it should be after 6 p.m. Okay? So, here we'll be having, so le train arrivera à 8 heures du matin. Since we are on AM, then 8 heures du matin. Heure here is used to express o'clock. Okay? And this is when we are using the 12 hours system. But we can also use the 24 hours system in French. How is this going to help us? We no more longer need to express morning, afternoon, since the time will come only once. So it will be from 0 to 23, or if you want from 1 to 24. Okay? So if you want to use 24 hours, then le train arrivera à 8 heures. Okay? And this is easier compared to this one because we need again to be able to identify morning, afternoon, evening, and it's making the sentence becoming longer. So I suggest you to use 24-hour system. Okay? So from 1 to 24. Okay? So le train arrivera à 8 heures. Got it? If you are not able to get your sentence right, you can tell me in the comment section what was the problem, if you are able to understand it, and then go to the next sentence. If you have any other questions, you can also mention it in the question section. Thank you. So the second sentence, the teacher will explain the lesson tomorrow. So for this sentence, I will let you do the exercise yourself. And you can, in the comment section, tell me or give me your answer. Okay? Then I will post the right answer after some time or in the next video. Okay? Now, before we go to the next sentence, I will at least give you some tip. Why am I giving you this sentence? Because this one and the previous one are exactly the same. The only difference that we have here is we have that word tomorrow here. If I'm removing tomorrow, it's exactly the same sentence that I gave in the previous question. That's why I'm asking you to practice using this sentence. Okay? So again, we are going to look at the structure of the sentence. Subject plus verb plus complement. Okay? So the teacher will be the subject, will explain will be the verb, the lesson tomorrow is the object. And I will help you with the meaning of tomorrow. Tomorrow in French will become demain. So please take your time and get it translated in French. Okay? You can post your answer in the comment section. Thank you so much. Let's go to the third sentence. Do you want to learn French but don't know where to start? Are you having difficulties learning French? Have you tried many different methods but still struggling learning French? Are you having any upcoming French exam? Are you trying to learn French for your professional career? Are you looking for a French partner to interact on a daily basis? Are you looking for private one-on-one classes for you or your loved one? Then do not hesitate to contact us. We'll help you drastically improve your writing, speaking, listening, and reading skills in French. Take the next steps which will allow you to become fluent in French. You can directly leave us a message in the message box under the video. You can send us an email, or you can contact us through Facebook or Instagram. Find all details in the video description. Sentence number 3. My sister will buy a new car next month. So 10-second timer starting now. Okay. Here is the structure of the sentence. Subject, verb, complement. My sister is the subject. Will buy is the verb. A new car next month is the complement. So let's start with the subject. My sister is the subject of the sentence. So here again, we need to ask ourselves these questions. What's the gender of the noun? So my sister, so I think it should be feminine. So my sister. Sister in English becomes sœur in French, which is a noun feminine. Okay. Second one. Does it require a definite or indefinite article in French? So you are talking about a specific person, my sister. So we are going to use a definite article. So la sœur. Here we need to understand that la sœur, la here doesn't represent my, but we'll talk about my in a moment. But since we are talking about sister, which is a person that I know or the speaker knows, then that's why we need to use an article to express the specific noun. So that's why I've written la. But la doesn't express my. Okay. The next point, is this a proper noun? So here we're talking about sister. Sister is a general noun. It's like brother. It's like a cousin. So it's not a proper noun. Proper noun should be someone named. So we say just no to this part. So my is a possessive adjective. So we use possessive adjective to show the belonging. Okay, this is the structure of possessive adjective. Possessive adjective plus noun. So if using adjective possessive, then no more need for article. What does it mean? For example, here I have my sister. Definite articles will be the. So I cannot say my the sister. Indefinite article will be a or an. I cannot say my a sister. So after using definite adjective possessive, we can't put article again. We don't need article anymore. So either I'm using article or adjective possessive. Okay. Okay. So this is the table of the adjective possessive. Okay. So this part is very important. So the first point will be to check these two steps. Step 1, find the owner of the object. I've written object here, but here it's not exactly object because sister is not an object, but the person speaking to whom belongs that things. Let's find him or her from this list according to the sentence that we have here. Okay? And the second point will be to find the noun, gender, and number. The things that we are talking about, the person or the belonging, what is the gender and the number of that belonging. Okay? So here, what we say my sister. So the sister, she is mine. Okay? So the person speaking here is je. Okay? I. That's why we have my, right? My bag, so means the speaker is I. Alright? Are you getting it? So the owner here is I. I'm not talking about the subject replacing the subject by the pronoun subject. No. Here we are here to see the owner of the belonging. So they say my sister. So the owner is I. So the person speaking is I. And the belonging is sister here. So that is the first thing we need to understand properly. Okay? So je will be the owner, not the subject, but the owner of the belonging. So finding the owner will give me 3 possibilities. Okay? The second point now is to check sister. What is the gender and the number of the noun sister? So if you remember, with research, we came to know that sister is feminine and singular. So for feminine and singular, we'll have this table. So here, this is the box that is cross-checked by both lines. Okay, so ma will be used to express my. Okay, understood this one? If you need more explanation, please, you can drop a comment in the section. I'll be glad to respond to you. Okay, so I've replaced my by ma and sister by sir. Okay. Next point, we need to talk about the verb. Will buy is the verb of the sentence. So again, the questions: what's the tense of the verb in the given exercise, in the given language, or in your mother tongue? Then we are going to translate, or to get the equivalent tense in French, apply the French rules according to that specific tense. Okay? So the given tense here, I think it's a future simple. So future simple. Okay? Second question, what is the subject of the verb? So we are going to identify the subject of the verb to be able to apply the French rules according to that specific tense, and following the agreement between that subject and the verb. So here we are talking about my sister. So I can replace my sister by she. So I think it will be third person singular. Okay? Sorry, I forgot I've written the train, but it should be my sister. Okay. Does the verb require a reflexive pronoun? So do we need a reflexive pronoun for my sister to do the action? Reflexive pronoun, if you do remember, we say used to express the action done on the subject himself. So I don't think so. We'll say no. Okay. Is the verb regular or irregular? So again, we are going to go through the rules that we have been through. But first, what we need to do, we need to get the verb to buy in French, the infinitive form, and then go through the list of the irregular. So to buy will be acheter. Now let's go through the list. We'll just go fast because so verbs ending with er, with e, final e, we lose the e before adding the ending. It doesn't end with e. Does it end with oyer or uyer? No. Does it end with ayer? No. Okay. Is it part of this list that we have here? I don't think. We can go through it, but no. Okay. Now, does it end with eler or eter? Ha. It does end with eter. So we have to pay attention to this part properly then. So you see, mostly we have both conjugations, but for this one, we need to pay attention. So is it from the group of appeler, jeter? I don't think. But is it from the group of geler and acheter? Yes, it is acheter here. So what are we going to do to get the future stem? We are going to remove the R and we are going to add an accent grave on the E before the T. Okay, so this is the part that we'll be taking. Okay, so yes, it's an irregular verb. So for the verb to buy, what will be the stem or the fixed part? It will be ACHE accent grave TER. And to that one, we are going to add the future endings. Okay? So what's the future ending for my sister? So my sister means she. So I will get the infinitive or what we have learned just previously, and then we are going to add a. Okay? So my sister will buy will become ma sœur achètera. Okay? So ma sœur achètera. The last point is to check if we need to have a preposition, but no, to buy a car, to buy something, so we don't need. So that's why I just kept that part. Let's talk about the complement. So a new car next month is the complement of the sentence. A new car, a car is a noun, new is an adjective. How can you avoid confusing between the adjective and the nouns when they are next to each other? Okay, because here we have new and car, a new car. Which one is the noun? Which one is the adjective? So what are we going to do? We are going to write the sentence or create a sentence and remove one of them between these two. If the sentence has a proper meaning, means the one that we have removed is the adjective. Okay, so let's look at this example. A car is coming. You have a problem between new and car. So I'm writing a sentence while removing one of these two and see which one will have proper meaning. So a car is coming and the other one will be a new is coming. Which one is clear, like more understandable by the common people? So I think the first one, right? So that means car is the noun and new is the adjective. This is a tip that you can use for yourself to be able to identify between the adjective and the noun when they are next to each other. Okay, so car is a noun. So again, what is gender? So car will be voiture in French and it's a noun feminine. Does it require a definite or indefinite article? So here we are talking about a car, right? So I think we'll use the indefinite article, and since the noun is feminine, then we'll use une. So a car will become une voiture. Une voiture. Is it a proper noun? I think no. Okay. So here I've replaced ma sœur achètera une, then we have new. We need to talk about new, and then voiture is here. So une voiture. New was there, so I kept it because we need to talk about it now. So new is an adjective. New in French become nouveau. Okay. So in French, we do have something that we call the agreement of the adjectives. So nouveau here is the masculine singular form of the adjective. Voiture here is feminine because of une. So we need to turn this adjective into feminine. Okay, so for adjectives ending with EAU, like this one, EAU, to get the feminine form, that EAU will turn into ELLE. So nouveau will turn to nouvelle. Okay? So the place of the adjective. So whenever you have adjectives in French, and the adjective is next or beside the noun, you need to ask yourself, in French, are we going to put it before or after the noun? Okay? So most adjectives in French follow the noun they modify. So they should come after the noun. Mostly in French, the adjective will come after the noun. So la maison blanche, so the white house. A few short descriptive adjectives usually expressing beauty, age, goodness, and size. You can remember this by BAGS. So this is an abbreviation that you can use, BAGS, to remember the adjective that they generally precedes the noun they modify. Okay, so for beauty, we have beautiful, handsome, so beau, joli. For age, we have new, nouveau, vieux, old, jeune, young. Godness, okay, so lack of it. So we can say bon, gentil, mauvais. And size, grand, petit, court, long, gros. So here we have our adjective is part of this list because it's nouveau. You remember we have turned that nouveau into feminine, that became nouvelle, but it is nouveau, right? So it's part of the adjective that should come after the noun. Okay? Other common adjectives that should come also after the noun. So you can go through this list, but for our exercise, so nouveau should come before the noun. Okay? And let's do this one. So I'm going to put it here. So une nouvelle voiture. Okay? Now the second part, you have month, you have next month. So in between these two, month is the noun. So again, what is the gender and the number of months? So again, you can do the same things and you can have next month, and if you are getting confused between next and month, which one is the noun, which one is the adjective, you can do the same thing. You write a sentence with month, you write another sentence with next as subject, and see which one will be more clear, and then that one will be the noun. Okay. But if you do have more question or not able to understand properly, you can ask me the question in the comment. I'll be glad to help you out. So what is the gender of month? So month is moi. So it's a noun masculine. Okay. The second point, does it require a definite or an indefinite article? Here we are talking about the next month. So it's a specific month, the next month. Okay. So I think we use definite article. So month is masculine, it's a noun masculine, so I will use le, moi. Here, moi, even the masculine singular form, there will always be S. So please don't forget this one. This is very important also. The next point, is it a proper noun? No. Month. No, it's not a proper noun. So I'll just put no. Okay. So, le next month. Le next mois. Now, let's talk about next. So next is an adjective. Next in French can be suivant or prochain. Okay? But when you are talking about months, we use prochain to express next. Okay? For the place of the adjective, so again, most of the adjective will follow the noun, and the adjective from bags, which means beauty, age, godness, or size, will come before. We also do have some adjective from this list that will come also before. Okay, so I don't think prochain is part of these last two, so we use the general rule, which is putting the adjective after the noun. Okay, understood? So le mois prochain. So ma sœur achètera une nouvelle voiture le mois prochain. Okay. Sentence number 4. We won't be going to the theater this weekend. And this will be another exercise for you to do and send me your answer. In the next video, before starting, I will give you the answer of these two sentences, or even I will drop the answer in the comment section. You can go after sometimes and check, and you will have the answers there. Okay? So, but before we finish, I will give you a tip about this sentence. So again, you have to divide it into these different parts. So for this specific sentence, we have a subject, you have a verb, you have the negation, and you have the complement. So we will be the subject, will be going to is the verb, not is the negation, and the theater this weekend is the complement. Okay? So this is it for this part. Before we leave, I will give you a tip how to master the formation of sentences in French. So number 1, you need to start with simple sentences. It will reduce the percentage of error. So subject, verb, complement. Pay attention to the tense, pay attention to the subject, gender, and number. And if the complement is also a noun, follow the same structure, same things that we did. If it's an adjective, again, you need to follow what we did about adjective. The second point, you need to identify the tense of the sentence in the English or in the given language and find the tense and its rule in French that express the same thing. Okay. Last point, practice a lot in writing. First of all, because the written word stays longer in the memory. And secondly, because practice makes learning perfect. So this is it for today's class. So I will see you in another video. Merci et bon apprentissage. Au revoir.